One of the biggest problems voters deal with is safety.
Other important topics will be on the agenda tonight. When we arrived on scene, there were various crews working to put out the fire. The wind facility has been curtailed or taken offline since. To get a real feel of what it's like to be the voice behind the badge, Caltrans will begin work on stage 2. Locomotives cost $4 million and has 4,000 horsepower, making it one of the world's largest sources of geothermal energy. It's the Jingle Mingle, and it'll be taking place here in Imperial next Thursday. Celebrating 60 years this year. The second show is going on just behind me. Now you still have to 8 p.m. to come out and vote. Expected to save the college $8 million. So Payne with you here. We're at Rogers and Rogers. Training day officially begins tomorrow. Balloons are free. So once again, we're here at the California Midwinter Fair and Fiesta. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio. Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Nico Payne. Tonight on 13 on Your Side, when two young surfers saw a boat capsize after another boat drove recklessly, they came to the rescue of the family that was on board. President-elect Donald Trump says the wall he plans to build along the Mexican border may have some fence sections where appropriate. A jail in California is not changing its security protocol despite a shooting that left 2 officers wounded. Officials say Thong Vang opened fire while waiting to visit someone at the Fresno County Jail on Saturday. And people can now bring Cuban cigars and rum into the U.S., and Hershey Chocolate Company is looking for a new boss. Kenneth Craig has more in this week's Money Watch. Bullock will lead an all-female cast in Ocean's 8, a remake of Ocean's 11. The film will be about a group of crooks who pulled off a major heist similar to Ocean's 11 series starring George Clooney. And we want to thank you for watching 13 on Your Side this morning. Be sure to join us at 4, 5, 6, and 10 for your latest local news.
I feel like no amount of money or whatever is going to take the place of my husband or his life.
Charles Sampson was pulled over on December 13th of 2013 for running a stop sign. Police found a meth pipe and shotgun inside Sampson's car and placed him under arrest. While in custody, Sampson began to show distress. His wife, Laverne Sampson, was on the scene and requested help, but that request was not taken seriously.
Basically, the case was about their failure to heed the family's request for medical attention and then taking the affirmative step of calling off 911.
Audio recordings from the 2013 911 call and video was released of an officer contacting dispatch to tell them to disregard Ms. Sampson's 911 phone call. Charles Sampson died later that evening.
I still feel like they still need to be held accountable and pay for what they did. I still feel like that still haven't been resolved, even though we have come to this agreement and this settlement offer. They still need to be held accountable and pay for what they did.
The settlement meant a lot to the family because it was finally an admission, although an indirect admission, that what had happened that night was inappropriate.
That night I will never forget. That night will always be there. But my family and I try not to, dwell on that night. We try to remember the happy times and the things that made us happy about how he was, how fun he was, the stuff that he used to do. And that's what we try to remember. We try not to, we won't forget that night, but we try not to dwell on it because it's not going to change and it's not going to bring him back.